Well, now, when was it that you started working in the mill?
I started working the mill when I was 18.
Was that about the time most people started? Or?
No, some of them. My sister started when she wasn't but 9 years old.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. And my brother did too. And back then they start from 8 or 9 and until they pass that child labor law, you know, where they couldn't work.
Well, what did your brothers and sisters do when they started?
Well, I had one sister that was weaver. I had a brother that was a carding room man. He was fixing the carding room. And I had a brother that worked in finishing room where they finish the cloth. And I had a sister that worked in the finishing room. And I had one that worked in the drawing and twisting room. Besides myself, I worked there. Me and her worked in the drawing and twisting room. And so...
That's what you did when you first started?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, maybe you don't, but do you remember the first time you went down to go to work or any of that?
No. I used to carry lunch down there to my sister and to another fellow that worked down there, lived over the other side of us. I'd carry lunch down there, and while she was eating her lunch, I learned to work on her job. And that's how I learned. And I was already learned when I went to work, 'cause I'd work every day on her job while she ate her lunch. And I learned to twist in. And then after I went to work, I learned to draw in. And so I worked till they shut down here.
In 54?
In 54.
Did you stay at the same job?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I worked in the weaving room, or I worked upstairs, or I worked in the drawing room. I worked anywhere they wanted me to. Or I worked over at the finishing room. When they needed me, I just worked wherever they need me.
Well, did you like the work?
Yeah, I liked to work. And I wish it was running now. I'd be at work.
Was it,
It was cotton. They made outing. Made this here outing like you see men's shirts made out of them outing shirts. That's what they made here.
What was it like on the inside? And was it have windows in it?
Yeah, it was windows in the mill. Yeah,
Was it light?
light, and they did. Now I don't remember that, but I've heard them laugh about having a man to fill the oil lights and light the lights whenever it began to get dark enough to light lights. George's daddy done that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what time? How many? It was open from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, or?
Mm-hmm. And they had the mill one time by stoves that I don't believe, yes you can, where that round place is up there on the end of the mill. That's where the chimney is at both ends of the mill.
I see.
Yeah, that's where it is at.
That would be to keep it warm?
Yeah, they had it by stove.
What was it?
Now, I don't know what to burn in them stoves. They could burn wood, I reckon, because I know I was a great big girl when we began to get cold and have a cold stove.
Well, were there different parts to the mill? You talk about upstairs and downstairs.
There's 3 floors.
What went on each of the floors?
Well, the weaving room was in the bottom floor, and spinning, and the little weaving room was in the 2nd floor. Then the carding room was in the 3rd floor, and the twisting and drawing room was in the 3rd floor.
So you worked up on the 3rd floor a lot.
I worked up on a 3rd floor, and sometime I worked down the weaving room, smash hand.
Did people like to do some jobs better than others, or?
Yeah. Different ones had a certain job they liked to do, and they wanted that job. They didn't want to do nothing else.
Did some of the jobs pay better than the others?
Yeah.
Well, how did that go?
Well, they paid by the hour most time.
And which ones were better than? How did that
The
work?
hour work, you made more by that
I mean,
because you paid so much an hour, you know.
Uh,
Now, when I went to work, I made 85 cents a day. Well, that's what I made. 85 cents a day, and when I quit work, I made $1.69 an hour.
what about different jobs? Did different jobs pay different things?
Yeah.
Could you tell me about
Different
that?
jobs. Now, a weaver made more than spinning and carding, and made more than we did drawn-in room. But we finally did get raised up to where we made more than they did.
Made more than who did?
The weaving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we worked by the piece, you know. You work by the piece, you can make more if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can fall down on the job.
Well, what did it sound like?
What?
What did it sound like inside?
Well, it's just a fuss, all I know. Just different machines are running that made more fuss than others. And down the weaving room made a whole lot more fuss than did up in the twisting drawing room because there wasn't no machines up there. We drawed in by hand, twisted in by hand. Wasn't no machine.
Was it too much noise sometimes, or?
It was all the time. You couldn't hear nothing. Not down there. That you was right close up at somebody. You would talk to them if you was right at it.
Did people ever worry? Did it hurt their ears, or would they worry about the hearing, anything like that? No. They
I
just got
never
used to it.
knowed them to say nothing about it.
I've heard these some songs that people used to sing about working in the mill. Did people ever sing in there?
Yeah, they'd sing, but you couldn't hear. You know they're doing something. You see them out for working.
Did you ever do any singing when you were in there?
Not hardly ever, because I don't sing.
What were the songs that people would sing? Would they be about the work itself, or would they be other kind of songs?
They'd be a different kind. I don't remember what it was.
Would sometimes people sing songs about their jobs? Or?
And I did have a piece that one man wrote about the whole mill, and I lost it somewhere. He made up a song about the whole mill. But I forget what it was, don't you, George?
What?
The song where, was it Walt Dickens or who had made that song up about the mill? And it started at the first of it. where it started in, the cotton started in.
Oh, good God.
But I can't remember who it was now.
What was the song about?
And it was about the different kind of works, you know. And he rhymed it up and made a song, a great long song, because he started where it went in the breakers at the lapper and went on up. But I can't remember who it was. It's been so long ago.
Did he sing it?
Yeah.
When would he sing it? How would?
Well, there was a crowd of them that picked guitar and a banjo and different string instruments, and we run by water then. Had water wheels. That was the power that run the mill, and when the water'd get low, maybe they'd stop off for an hour or two. Well, this gang of boys would get their instruments and get out there in the front of the mill, and they would sing and pick guitar and a banjo and different kind of string music. And maybe they'd stand an hour or two and the water gain up and they'd start back up.
How often would that happen?
And that is in summertime. And when the water got low, water'd get low, and there's a big old rock out there they call Lily, and I forget the other's name, but there's two of them. When you get to see them two rocks, you know we was gonna get a rest, because water was getting low. And
they made up songs whenever the water gets low.
yeah, they get out in front of the mill under two big trees. They done cut the two trees down though in front of the mill now. And get out there in the shade and sing. And
Reckon that'd be once a week or once a month in the summertime, or how?
oh, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
When it didn't rain. We had dry weather just like we have now. People say, oh, I don't remember it. Well, I remember it very well, for I used to work in the mill.
Yes.
And I know when it shut down for low water.
Do you remember any other songs? That's a good song that you remembered there. Do you remember any others?
No, I don't.
Would people sing church music?
Yeah, they'd
too?
sing sacred songs, and they would sing jazz.
Jazz.
Yeah. Old Aunt Dinah's quilting party, and
That used to
just
be the main one.
yes, it was. And just a whole lot of songs, but I don't remember.
Did people know the names of singing groups, different musicians and play their songs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any of those groups at all?
No, I don't.
What about record players and radios and things like that?
Yeah, we had a record player, and we had a first little radio I ever saw was just about like that, wasn't it? No. Just a little square box, about half as big as that.
Mm-hmm.
And you listen at it through earphones.